is a match we will remember for a very long time. Seals it on his 5th championship point after 3 hours and 49 minutes on court.
I'm settled down, my trusty bowl of strawberries and cream precariously balanced on my knee. To my left, a young gun named Jannik Sinner, armed with a racket and hopes higher than my uncle's tennis sock tan. On the right, the tennis behemoth himself, Novak "No Joke" Djokovic. It felt like watching a gladiator facing a very determined squirrel. The electric atmosphere had us all wondering, can anyone stop Novak Djokovic? But before we dive headfirst into that burning question, here's a trivia question for you. Which Hollywood blockbuster movie took Djokovic from the tennis court to the big screen, only to leave him out in the final cut? Hint, the movie has a lot of explosions. Still not sure? Then stick around till the end to unlock the answer. And as always, if this video serves up some tennis joy, follow that like button and backhand to subscribe for more ace-worthy tennis content like this. Novak Djokovic is basically the tennis world's version of Superman, minus the cape, though I'm betting he's got one in his closet. First off, this guy's got 24 Grand Slam titles. Yep, you heard that right. The dude's practically building a fort with all those trophies. You might think he's got enough silverware to start his own fancy dinner, but nope. Djokovic is hungry for more. While most of us are contemplating if we should get off the couch for a snack, he's busy figuring out which young whippersnapper to thrash next. And speaking of age, remember when we used to believe 36 was old in tennis? Well, Novak's clearly missed that memo. The man's like that Energizer bunny, just keeps going and going. And if you've heard the whispers from his coach, Goran, this tennis juggernaut might just be around wreaking havoc for another 5 years. Picture that, Novak probably stealing the rackets of 20-year-olds as souvenirs. Oh, and those young players, they might as well start their How to Beat Novak support group now. Now let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Cast your minds back to 2011. Some of us were figuring out our questionable fashion choices, while Djokovic, he was busy having one of the most dynamite tennis seasons in history. He won 10 tournaments that year. 10! Most of us can't even commit to a 10-day diet. Rafael Nadal, the king of clay himself, tipped his hat to Djokovic, saying he showcased probably the highest level of tennis he's ever seen. And coming from Rafa, that's like getting a high five from Zeus. Flash forward to 2015, another spectacular year for our Serbian superhero. He started with a bang in Doha, but got a minor hiccup facing a loss against Ivo Karlovic. But you know Novak, a minor setback for a major comeback. At the Australian Open, he took down giants like Stan Wawrinka and danced his way into a final against Andy Murray. And after a spicy 4-set tango, Djokovic was the last man standing, grabbing his 5th Melbourne title. He then gave Federer a run for his money in Dubai, danced through Indian Wells, breezed in Miami, and had a merry jaunt in Monte Carlo. But hey, even superheroes have their kryptonite. For Novak, it was Stan Wawrinka at the French Open, proving that even the best have their off days. But true to form, Novak bounced back at Wimbledon, showing the world once again why he's the king of the court.
Wimbledon, a 21st Grand Slam.
In 2015, Djokovic was on the brink of history. Almost everyone wondered if he could complete the career Golden Masters in Cincinnati, a feat no man had achieved. But as fate had it, Federer halted his charge in the final. He later clinched this feat in both 2018 and 2020, but that's not all. Reaching the US Open final, he looked Federer in the eyes once more. The result? Djokovic clinched his third Grand Slam of the year. Now, imagine this. By the end of that season, he'd been in 15 straight finals. This wasn't just any year. It was one of the greatest seasons in tennis history. And if you thought that was all, you're in for a big surprise. Fast forward to 2023, and Djokovic was back to make history. Starting in Adelaide, a nail-biting final saw him save a championship point to defeat Sebastian Korda. However, a challenge lurked around the corner. The Australian Open beckoned, and a certain Tsitsipas stood in his way. But guess what? Djokovic came out on top, tying with Nadal's record. Back on clay in Monte Carlo, a surprise awaited. Lorenzo Musetti, the young gun, knocked Djokovic out.
Yeah, just too heavy-handed, Djokovic.
But at the French Open, a classic Djokovic story unfolded. He ousted the then world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz and went on to clinch a groundbreaking 23rd major title. It seemed like the Djokovic train had no brakes. And Wimbledon? Djokovic was eyeing his 5th consecutive title. Yet, as history has often shown, every champion meets their match. Enter Carlos Alcaraz, the same young dynamo from the French Open, and this time, in a heart-stopping finale, Alcaraz emerged victorious. If you think Djokovic was done, think again. Cincinnati witnessed what many call one of the best matches ever. Djokovic versus Alcaraz, the rematch. Almost 4 hours of breathtaking tennis. Djokovic prevailed, but at what cost? Physically drained, he then ventured into the US Open. And here's the kicker. Against all odds, he conquered, winning his record-extending 24th major. What a champion! The Joker's career reads like a buffet where he's left no dish untouched. Gobbled up 69 big titles? Check. Stuffed his trophy cabinet with 24 Grand Slams? Oh, absolutely. It's like he's at a tennis carnival, and while everyone's trying to score on the smaller games, Novak's casually hitting every bullseye and winning all the giant stuffed animals. And get this, he's won every Grand Slam, every Masters event, and the year-end championship at least twice. It's like he's playing tennis bingo and keeps shouting bingo before anyone else even gets a chance to sit down. Daniil Medvedev, fresh off his newbie triumph, labelled Djokovic the greatest tennis player in history. Imagine winning your first big trophy and your first thought is, wow, that other guy's really good. Classic. And remember when Pat Cash made it sound like beating Nadal at the French Open was akin to climbing Everest in flip-flops? Yep, Djokovic did that. 2011? Oh, what a year! Djokovic was like that kid in class who just wouldn't get a question wrong. Even Nadal, usually the head of the class, was passing him congratulatory notes saying, "Teach me, master." Given Novak Djokovic's current form and achievements, he's on track to potentially secure up to 30 Grand Slams. His prowess on the court is unmatched, leading many to hail him as the greatest in tennis. While the future of sports is always uncertain, as of now, it appears that very few, if any, can genuinely challenge Djokovic's dominance. But before we head off, it's time to circle back to our trivia question of which Hollywood blockbuster movie took Djokovic from the tennis court to the big screen, only to leave him out in the final cut. Well, the answer is The Expendables 2. Yes, that's right. Back in 2011, Djokovic shot a scene in Bulgaria for the movie. Somehow this fun cameo didn't make the cut. A missed opportunity for sure. Imagine if they kept a scene where he saves Jason Statham with a timely tennis ball hit. Statham could have cheekily quipped, "Thanks, but I'm still rooting for Andy Murray." Coincidentally, Murray defeated Djokovic in the US Open weeks after the movie's release. Imagine the buzz if Statham had seemingly predicted that win. But no worries, Novak. We know where your real blockbuster performances are on the tennis court. And that, my friends, is game, set and match for this episode of Glam Slam Tennis. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the action and what we have in store. Until next time, stay fabulous and ace those serves.